So the prince agreed to treat the princess. He told the king that he would have to examine the wooden horse because he would need it for the treatment. So the king took him to see the horse. The prince inspected it carefully and found that it was in perfect condition. The prince then went with the king to the princess's room. The king waited outside while the prince went in to examine the princess. The princess was crying, screaming, and waving her arms around wildly. The prince knew that she was just pretending so people would stay away from her. As he came slowly toward her, he tried to make her relax. "Please, don't worry. Nobody's going to hurt you, my beauty." When he was by her side, he whispered in her ear, "It's me, Qamar al-Akmar." As soon as she heard this, the princess screamed and fainted with joy. The king was very worried and shouted through the door, "What's going on in there? Have you frightened her? Are you all right, my princess?" The prince quickly whispered again in his princess's ear, "Oh, Shams al-Nahar, be careful. We're in great danger. We must plan everything carefully so we can escape. I'll go outside your room and tell the king that you're crazy because the wizard put an evil spirit into the wooden horse, which then got into you. Then I'll tell him that I can remove this evil spirit and cure you. When I've finished, I'll come back into your room and talk to you for a few moments. Afterward, I'll invite the king in. You must then talk very sweetly to him to make him believe that my treatment has made you better." When the prince had finally done all these things, he invited the king into the princess's room. The princess smiled warmly at him and welcomed him with a kiss. The king was very happy and thanked the doctor with all his heart. The prince then told the king that the princess was not completely well yet. "In order to complete the cure," the prince explained, "you and your soldiers must take the princess and the wooden horse back to the place where you found her. I will only then be able to remove the evil spirit from the horse and destroy it completely. If I don't do that, it will continue to drive the princess crazy." The king agreed. He now thought the doctor was so intelligent and honest that he believed anything he said. The soldiers took the horse to the field, followed by the king and the princess. The prince, still dressed like a doctor, gave the king his orders. "My lord, this could be dangerous. So first you must put the princess and the horse as far away as possible from you and your soldiers. I will then go and remove the evil spirit from the horse. I will get on the horse and put the princess behind me. The horse will shake and make strange noises, but don't worry. This is a necessary part of the treatment. The horse will turn and run straight toward you and your soldiers. When this happens, you'll know that the evil spirit has been completely removed from the horse. You may then do whatever you want with the princess." When the king heard this, he was very happy. He quickly ordered his army to move back from the princess and the horse. The prince left the king and walked slowly to the horse. He climbed up onto the horse's back, helped the princess up, and tied her tightly to him. He then reached down and pressed the up button. The horse immediately flew up into the air, higher and higher into the sky, until it could be seen no more. The king and his soldiers stood there silently watching. They stood that way for half a day, waiting for the horse to return. Eventually the king realized that he had been a fool. He knew that there was nothing he could do. So slowly and sadly, he returned to his palace. The prince flew day and night until he finally arrived at his father's palace. After landing on the roof and making sure that the princess was safely inside, he went to see his father and mother. They were full of joy when they saw him, and the servants prepared the palace and the city so that everyone could celebrate the return of the prince and princess. People then celebrated for 30 days and nights with delicious food, beautiful music, and dancing in the streets. At the end of the 30 days, the prince married his lovely princess, and they enjoyed each other with great happiness on their wedding night. King Sabur destroyed the horse, so his son could never leave again and get into trouble. He then wrote to the princess's father to tell him that she was safe and happily married. The king of Sana'a was filled with joy to hear this news. He sent messages of friendship and many expensive gifts back to his daughter, her new husband, and their family. Prince Kamar al-Akmar was very happy to receive his good wishes and invited him to the palace. After many happy years, King Sabur died, and Prince Kamar al-Akmar became king. He was a good, kind king, and his people loved him.